Skeltermar, Johnny Lawson then back up to P6, but you can see he's some way down. Whoa! There's a car the back end of the car just got completely loose there. And that is a huge impact into the barriers. Right. That is the crash, and it's Thomas Gosler.
Oh no! That is a nasty impact. That's a really nasty impact.
We will send you out again. We will send you out again.
We have another safety car for sure. That's
absolutely. That was a huge impact.
Hope he's coming out of the car.
Are you okay? Gary?
So how did this happen?
Are you okay?
It hurts, but I think I'm okay.
It hurts, but I think I'm okay.
I think I'm okay.
Well, and Mike Rockenfeller was just an innocent bystander there, but in fairness, Gary could do absolutely nothing, could he? And once again, on the team radio, Gary Paffett
1, 2, 3, Mike.
fired so hard into those Armco barriers.
Just hope Mike it's okay. It's not really answering the radio. So we heard Gary Paffett, it's okay.
More to go, so it's a long ways to go in this one. Oh, blown motor! Big fire! Please stay off the fence, and everybody off the fence, off the fence, off the fence.
They'll get it handled here. Obviously.
Trenton is out of the car, Daniel Moore out of the car.
That looks like Kenny Smith.
Oh,
It's been a big crash.
And that's down at turn number 1. The Reds have come out. David Banks is also caught up in the Talon. So Ken Smith has found that wall on the left-hand side.
I can see his head moving, and I saw David was okay as well. I can see Kenny's hopping out of the car now. His belts are undone. That's a good sign. You never want to see an accident, especially in these cars. They aren't quite as safe, obviously, as some of the more modern stuff. So I'm really pleased to see both those drivers hopping out.
And to the great applause once again from this passionate New Zealand crowd. Ken Smith, that's the car that Tom Alexander qualified in when Ken's original car, the red Lola T332, spun a bearing during qualifying. And that's not the way he wanted to kick off his 60th consecutive year of racing. So there he is at the back of this group. Did he go for a last-minute dive down the inside? It's turned hard left into it. Man, that's big contact with 2-ton concrete blocks on the left-hand side.
Definitely a failure there of some sort. Kenny was well up the inside, and for whatever reason, the car's just turned hard left.
Oh, my goodness. And Banks would have seen him come into the mirrors, but failure with that car right across the front of the 78s. Let's watch the rear of the car. Blue car at the back of the shot, the Lola.
Yeah, it did look like something collapsed in the left rear. Just there.
Rear wing gone, and absolutely no downforce from that point.
So these cars actually have, they don't have a huge amount of downforce, but a lot over the rear of the car. And obviously that wing, once it collapsed, just completely unloaded the rear of the car. Slow-mo, it's going to really exaggerate the size of the impact here. Just a passenger from that point.
Oh,
look at the head.
Pero no era para alargar, venían todos muy mezclados, algunos que se adelantaron, así que atención a las decisiones que se toman. Mira el lío que se armó, por adentro venía, ¡uy, vuelco! Vuelco terrible, se mezclaron, esto no estaba para alargar. Un palo terrible. A ver.
Tremenda piña, tremenda.
Que es Casal, ¿no?
Es Casal, parecía.
Mirá cómo quedó el auto, se desarmó.
La verdad que una lástima, ¿no? Fue un desastre la largada, no sé quién se quedó y no hubo salida para ningún lado. Me tiré por adentro y después recibí un toque de atrás y bueno, me partieron en el medio después, pero bueno, un desastre la largada, no puedo decir mucho más.
on circuit. What's going on here? Absolute carnage. Absolute carnage here. Down at turn number 6, and red flags will be out in just a second.
This is where all the drama started. This is incredible.
Mir, I think, is the first to go down. Yeah, then Martin, then Finati, and then watch this, all the rest of them coming through. Oh, Mir got collected as well.
Made it through. Look at that. You have never, ever seen anything... Bulliger got whacked. Deary me.
Antonelli was so lucky. All riders included. One of the most bizarre scenes you are ever likely to see. And this is Fabio Di Giannantonio, who at this point was probably thinking, I'm leading. Oh, look, and the oil there as well.
As we go on board now, he definitely touched the outside wall of Reservoir Bend. Doesn't look as though there's major damage to the car, but we'll keep you informed as to whether... Oh, no! Oh, mayhem! And there's millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage here at the mighty Macau. And that is one of the worst GT accidents I've ever seen here. And in the place, the city, that is a gamble, the lottery has absolutely come to an end. Right at the front of here is the 911, and you can see his frustration. Cars everywhere. Lucas Di Grassi not even on the ground.
Not on the tarmac.
And not able to get out. Let's have a look at some of the sort of highlights of that crash. And it's, you can see Juncadella gets turned around, Vantoor's in it, several Audis. Lucas Di Grassi's put into the sky because of it. The number 99, Tom Blomqvist, is stuck underneath. Here we go on board behind the 27, and a nasty, nasty picture for Lucas Di Grassi. That was really not a pleasant sight. Luckily, not one of the fastest corners. There's Juncadella already in the wall, and I think he was pretty close.
When you're doing it, he's in. That's a massive crash there for Tander. He's spun. That's Rick Kelly involved. Tim Blanchard, Moffat, they're all involved. Have a look at this.
After the difficult day they've had, Rick Kelly, massive damage on that car. That's Will Davison.
Both the Mobil 1 HSV cars are involved. Both of the Gary Rogers cars are involved.
Here's another angle of it. Violent impact, huge energy dissipated by the tyre barrier, and the car flipped up onto its roof. And this is where the multi-point harness, the seats, the hands device that secures the helmet so that he doesn't end up with a disproportionate amount of movement with that kind of impact does its job.
Caution, turn 2. Trouble, oh my goodness, what a huge crash. Scott Dixon is in it. Jay Howard is the other car.
involved. Dixon and Jay Howard. There is Dixon. Look at that car. It is destroyed.
There's nothing left of the back. That sawed the engine in half.
As we watch the cars go through here, guys, the car on the very top, okay, which is Jay Howard. We're going to roll this through now. Well, look at Jay. He's already way off the line. He's off the dark patch of the racetrack, which we call the racing line. He's up in the gray. He's lost control of the car. He's hoping he's not going to hit the wall. He impacts the wall, comes off the wall, just misses the 10 of Tony Kanaan. Unfortunately, Scott Dixon is right there, up and over the front of the car. Car hits on the top of the wall. The safety cell on these cars, guys, I can't tell you how strong they are. An awful accident, but as we saw, Scott Dixon right there, hands away from the steering wheel. We saw him get out, and when we first went to this frame, when we first saw this accident, you heard some roar from the crowd, and that was because they knew that Scott Dixon was okay.
He doesn't really use the safety fencing. He lands on top of it.
Obviously, part of the car got into it to rip it open, right?
Yes, he landed. Yeah. Oh my! I have never witnessed an accident like that.
You know, we talked about the number 3 of Elio Castroneves going underneath Scott Dixon's car. Remember, it was Elio a few years ago that ended up going airborne between turns 1 and 2 and walked away from that incident as well. We see how Scott Dixon was thrown around inside the cockpit of the car. All these drivers are so physically fit. He works out here locally as we ride along on board. Ooh.
This is from Castroneves.
He went right under.